Authorities confiscate weapons inside a truck on a Aleppo highway. An explosive device targets UN observers' convoy in Khan Sheikhoun. Terrorists of different nationalities relate how they infiltrated into Syria to join Free Army militias. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our news for today. 250 citizens involved in recent events and who did not commit any acts of killing against the Syrians have been released. Earlier on May 5th, 265 detainees were set free, and before them 30 on the 21st of last April and 552 on the 5th of last January. Meanwhile, 24 people from Tel Kalakh village who were involved in recent events but perpetrated no acts of killing against the Syrians had yesterday surrendered themselves with their weapons to the authorities. Their status was settled after they pledged to stop carrying arms or do anything that infringes on Syria's security in the future. Raqqa customs authorities yesterday seized a large quantity of weapons hidden inside a transit truck that was coming from Al-Hasaka to Aleppo on a Raqqa-Aleppo highway. The arms seized included 13 sniping rifles and a large quantity of bullets. The American Washington Post daily published an article about large quantities of sophisticated weapons received by the Syrian opposition in the past weeks and bought by Gulf states in partial coordination with the USA. In an article entitled "Gulf States Pay the Cost of Weapons Provided to the Syrian Opposition in Coordination with Washington," the paper says the arms purchases, mostly bought at the black market, have remarkably increased after Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and other Gulf states decided to allocate millions of dollars every month for this purpose. The paper pointed out that officials at the American administration affirmed that the USA does not provide the opposition with sophisticated weapons or with funds, but the administration has expanded contacts with the armed opposition to provide Gulf states with an assessment of the credibility of the rebels and the infrastructure of the centers of leadership and control. The paper quoted Milham Adroubi, member of the executive committee at the Muslim Brotherhood, as saying that they have opened their own channels of supply for the rebels, depending on rich people and funds from Gulf countries, including Saudi Arabia and Qatar. A delegation of the UN observers yesterday visited certain neighborhoods in Idlib and Taftanaz in Idlib suburbs and met the inhabitants there. Other delegations of the UN monitors also visited Al-Khalidiyya and Al-Qusayr neighborhoods in Homs and the town of Douma in Damascus countryside. The delegations saw the sites that witnessed acts of sabotage by the armed terrorist groups in Kafr Zetta and Mok in Hama suburbs. Meanwhile, UN spokesman Martin Nesurki said a handmade explosive device blew up when a procession of 4 cars carrying UN observers blew up, leaving no casualties among the observers. Nesurki said 3 cars belonging to the observers incurred some damage in the blast that took place in Khan Sheikhoun near Hama, but no one of the monitors was injured. He added that the mission sent a patrol to the place to help move the observers from the site of the explosion. Three terrorists, one of them a Libyan and 2 others are Tunisians, confessed that they infiltrated into Syria through the Turkish borders in order to carry out terrorist attacks in coordination with al-Qaeda and the militias of the so-called Free Army. Libyan terrorist Fahd Abdel Karim Saleh al-Freites, who was born in 1991, said in confessions broadcast by the Syrian TV that he took part in the latest events in Libya when he went to Istanbul in Turkey, where he contacted a person called Abu Ahmad from al-Qaeda, who asked him to come to Antakya near the Syrian borders. Al-Freites added that he infiltrated into Syria on foot. Later, a car for Abu Ahmad took him to the Syrian port of Latakia. He added that when he arrived in Latakia, he stayed there for several days. Then he met Abu Ahmad, who works with the so-called Free Army militias, and later taken to Al-Mujahideen. For his part, Tunisian terrorist Osama Mukhtar Hazli, who was born 1990, confessed that he also went to Libya twice to participate in the events there. He pointed out that there was special committees along the Tunisian-Libyan borders which used to organize and fund foreign fighters. Hazli added that when he was staying in Libya, one of his friends called Rida told him that he will go to Syria. He then went to Turkey, where he found a man called Abu Ahmad who pledged to guarantee his entrance to Syria. After entering Syria, Hazli went to Latakia and met Abu Ahmad, who took him to Abu Talha, or the so-called Free Army, in order to travel to Idlib to take part in fighting alongside the Free Army militias. For his part, Tunisian terrorist Majid bin al-Ayyash al-Ayyari, born in 1985, confessed that he also went to Libya to take part in the fighting. Later, he joined a camp for al-Qaeda where he trained how to use weapons. Later, he went to Turkey where he contacted Abu Ahmad, who told him to travel to Antalya. After arriving there, one of the persons took him by car and helped him infiltrate into Syria. When he arrived there, he was taken to one of the houses where he found several persons of Arab nationalities. Abu Ahmad welcomed him and told him that one of the smugglers will take him to join the terrorists inside the country. Finally, in the presence of the Minister of Environment, Dr. Kokab Daya, the Ministry of Environment held a meeting with the Directors of Environment Affairs in Syrian governorates. The meeting agreed on the following points: a follow-up plan to remove stickers and posters related to the election campaign of the first legislative term of 2012. The measures needed to be taken to remove the negative repercussions ensuing from terrorist attacks. A follow-up of the complaints presented and irregularities observed and ways to handle them. A plan of the joint activities to be carried out with environmental civil societies and the special programs related to such activities.
This meeting is for the directors in the central ministry and the directorates in all governorates to discuss and follow up 4 subjects. First one, to follow up a plan to eliminate the posters and the publications. Those was for the election of the parliament, and the other topic is to discuss the plans and the procedures to be followed out and carry out to eliminate or to decrease the negative impacts of the terrorist actions.
Now we are working to take out this announcement and pictures of these candidates after the election campaign has finished now.
With this, we conclude our news bulletin for today. For more information about Syria and the region, you can visit our website in English, syriaonline.sy. Up next, the latest business.